Welcome back to the Illuminated Path podcast, and welcome to the official launch of season 2 of the show. After a year of podcasting in 2024, I've learned so much about my listeners. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about all of the guests that I've brought on to the show. I didn't realize that creating and starting a podcast would teach me so much. And it really has been such a light in my life throughout the past year. And so, as I was thinking about season 2 and the guests I wanted to bring on, the interviews I wanted to bring on, how I wanted to reshape and evolve the podcast, I'm so excited for all of the exciting shifts that are going to be making their way to your ears very soon. And so I wanted to kick off season 2 with an exciting conversation from Samantha Dawn, or with Samantha Dawn, who is currently my style coach. As you notice, if you've been listening to the podcast, I love bringing on people who I'm learning from, who have taught me in some way, whether it's a coach, a teacher, a mentor, a client. And so Samantha is someone that I'm currently working with, and I knew I wanted to bring her on to the show because she is such a light and has such amazing energy and is doing really uh, great work with women to help them elevate their style. So Samantha Dawn, she is a personal stylist, she's a style coach, she's a mom of 2 little boys, and she helps women, high-level women, find their next level of style so they can reestablish and own who they are in their next era confidently. What really drew me to her work is she fuses together psychology and style strategies, and she has helped hundreds of women globally to create an aligned personal style that allows them to dress to express, that results in increased confidence, increased opportunities, increased aligned friend circles, and more. I'm going to drop all of her information in the show notes if you want to connect with her on Instagram, TikTok, if you want to work with her as a private client or join her style accelerator. I'll have all the details for you there. So let's go ahead and dive into our first episode of season 2 with Samantha Dawn. Welcome to the Illuminated Path podcast. I'm your host, Liv, founder of Eno Wellness Collective. My wellness journey started with yoga, which led me down the path of exploring healing modalities like meditation, breath work, sound healing, mindset work, and so much more. This exploration inspired my mission to help others find what lights them up. Get comfortable and curious as we learn from experts, teachers, and creators who are lighting up their communities and living an inspired, expansive life. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Illuminated Path podcast, and welcome to the show, Samantha.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. And because we are working together right now with you as my style coach, I feel like it's all very fresh and top of mind, like everything that we're going through in our program. I wanted to bring on over to this conversation and to the podcast because it's been personally just inspiring me so much. And I know it's going to inspire the people listening to the podcast too. So, one of the reasons why I started this podcast is really to share stories of people who had, how did they get here, right? What has been the path to getting here? Because a lot of times people just see the current coach or the current entrepreneur or the current whatever they might be, but they don't see kind of the path that it took to get here. So as a personal stylist, as a style coach now, I would love for you to share a little bit about what has led you here.
Ooh, okay. So I'm like, where do I start? It's a COVID story. Basically, I had my first child. I had him 2 weeks before COVID. And during that time, I was already misaligned with where I was working at. And so I ended up quitting my job and I was just being a postpartum mom. Not just, there's a lot of things that go in postpartum, but I was a postpartum mom, stay at home, didn't really know what I was doing. And I was just taking care of my baby. And one of the things that were happening is that my clothes weren't fitting anymore. I gained 4 pant sizes. I didn't lose the weight. And I had just quit my job. And so I was just kind of in this gray area in my life of just not knowing where exactly I'm supposed to be. But I had an idea of where I was supposed to go, right? My identity was very tied to that last job that I was at. And so it was kind of starting fresh and figuring out who I am. And so what I ended up doing was doing a style makeover onto myself because my clothes were tied to that past job and that didn't feel like me anymore. So that was one. Two, I just didn't fit my clothes. So I needed clothes that fit me in a way that made me feel good. And so I was doing that. But at the same time, I was doing psychology practices onto myself for the first time. And my background's actually in psychology. And so I was doing a lot of inner work for the first time and simultaneously doing that with a style makeover ended up becoming a happy accident of the most powerful tool for me to really like own who I am and love who I saw in the mirror and just felt proud of it. And it just really gave me permission to be me and show up as myself in the way that I wanted. And so that's where the idea came to me of like, you know, maybe other women in this world need my help. Maybe other women feel this way too. And so I put myself out there on TikTok. It's been what 4 years now since I've done that, and now I've helped women all over the world do the same process that I did to myself to help them find themselves and own who they are through style and psychology. I've been in a couple of magazines and just like been partnering with lots of brands. Like the happy accident opened up a million different doors for me in terms of like what I get to do with my future. And it brought me you. Like without social media, I don't think you and I would have never met.
I know. And thank you to the algorithm for bringing you into my life, because I was literally looking for, I knew I wanted to work with a stylist. I knew I wanted to work with a coach. As a health coach, I know the value of coaching, right? I'm like, coaches need coaches. And I am like a huge believer in hiring people who are experts in their field to elevate and up level whatever it is I'm working on. And so I remember when I found you on TikTok, and yeah, I saw the connection of psychology with fashion, with styling, and then I had seen that you were a mom, had a bunch of kids as well. And so just having all of those, understanding postpartum, having the psychology background, being a coach, and just looking amazing, I was like, she's the one for me. So I feel like that connection and how you talk about psychology and style strategies together really resonated with me, as I know it will resonate with other people who are listening too. So you mentioned that when you were doing your own style makeover, you were starting to infuse your background of style and psychology together. So what did that look like, or what does that mean for someone that might be like, how did she do that? How did she fuse that together?
Yeah, so from the inner perspective, it was more so understanding who am I, who do I want to become, like really tapping into self and understanding who do I want this future version of myself to be and who do I want to embody really. And so really taking time to understand that. I started with EFT tapping to get really in tune with like myself and my body. And then I've done lots of different types of inner work. I feel from like there's so many different types of things that I've tried. EFT definitely has been one of the most significant things for me. And then therapy, of course, that's been great too. That actually didn't happen until second postpartum with therapy, but that also has been a big part of my many evolutions that I've had with myself. So that's more of like the inner reflection part of it and making sure that my style is tied to me, not just something I want to copy and paste, right? Now, the style part of it was really understanding one, defining what styles resonated with that self that I was trying to embody, that who I see myself becoming. What does that mean? Because I didn't want a style that just I thought was cute from somebody else on TikTok or Instagram and just wanted to copy them. I wanted my personal style. So doing that, understanding my new body shape, really developing a relationship with my body, and nurturing that because my body is not the same as it was when I was 25. Like that my body was amazing, but I am not her anymore and I can't use that as my standard. I really wanted to embrace the body that I have right now, just the body that I have right now. And so learning how to dress my body shape by understanding what is my shape, what kind of cuts and fits work best for me to give me the visual shape that I want. And then that led into my closet, clearing out what doesn't serve you, make room for the things that do. Then that helped me identify, okay, these are the pieces that I'm missing. Then the shopping, and then putting the pieces together. And it's not a Mia Thermopolis moment where it happens like overnight, which I wish every style makeover is like that, but that's just not realistic. But once all those pieces came together, the inner and the outer were really one. And it just felt very empowering for myself to love what I saw in the mirror, but not hold myself back from opportunities or making memories just because I didn't like what I wanted to wear. Because we all know the power of a bad outfit. We will stay home and not go anywhere if we don't feel good in our clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's so interesting is that, for me, when made the decision to work with you, it really was that decision of I'm making it for my future self. Like I know where I'm going and I'm making it because of that, from like the energy of that person. I imagine that when people come to you all over the world, there is a mix of some people are like look, making that decision from the future self. Other people are like there's something right now that I need to work through, right? Like there's something more in the present. So I'm sure
Yeah.
you've seen all sorts of reasons why people come through, and are like, I need your help. But what would you say are some of the themes of like reasons why women are starting to be like, style coach? This is like the direction versus all the different kinds of support that they might get.
I feel like a lot of my clients are just ready to put love back into themselves, like pour back into themselves, do things for them. A lot of women that I work with are high level women, or they own their businesses, or they have a high position in their careers. Most of them are, but the main similarity that I see with every woman that I work with is that it's time to put the focus back onto herself. She's tired of dressing in a way that's holding her back. She wants to go out and be seen, but feel comfortable doing so. And she has the idea in her head, but execution wise, she just doesn't know how to get there. And she gets really overwhelmed, and decision fatigue happens, and she talks herself out of it. Like the psychological parts of the woman that I work with are all very similar because they all really believe in themselves and they just want to pour back into themselves. And that's why I love fusing the psychology with it, because it can be that powerful tool. Like when you work with me, it's not just a wardrobe switch, it's a whole lifestyle switch.
Yeah, and even just the question that you've been posing to our, group from the start of like, doesn't matter what you want to wear, like how do you want to feel, right? How do you want to feel today? And I've been really adopting that a lot of like, even if I'm staying home and I just have calls, with clients, it doesn't matter if no one's going to see me out in the world. It's how do I want to feel, right? And less about
Yeah.
who's there and more about like my own internal energy. And so that is just such a quick, shift that is already impacting me a lot. And I'm sure it impacts a lot of the people you work with. It's like the outfits will come, but like all the pre-work to get there is interesting. So, one of the things I work on with my health coaching clients, it comes up literally every program is always around home environment, and everyone's the theme for me is everyone's working on their closet in some capacity. Everyone needs to declutter their home in some way. I just recorded a solo episode all about home environment, and I know people probably with you want to start with closet, right? They're like, okay, let's go through the closet and just take everything out. But I know you have your own approach to a closet cleanse, and there is some sort of pre-foundational things to do before that. But yeah, what are some I guess your approach towards looking at your clothes, looking at identity, and like kind of it is an emotional process. It's not just like dump a bunch of stuff out into donation bags. There's a whole experience that goes with letting go of some of your clothes. So yeah, what are some thoughts that you have on that?
Yeah, there is three different categories that I like to do when it comes to closet cleansing. The discontinued identity, meaning clothes that no longer align with you. So let me back up real quick before I explain that. There's a difference between aligning with a style and appreciating a style. Aligning with the style, meaning, yes, this feels like me, this represents me, I feel like my future self in these clothes, versus appreciation, where it's like, I love that style. It's really great, but it doesn't feel like me. It doesn't represent me. So, for example, the boho style, way back when, that was actually my style. It was like boho Western. And if you know me right now, that's not very me at all. I no longer align with that style. I did 6 years ago, but I just appreciate it now. So know the difference between those two. So now going back to the closet cleansing, the discontinued identity are clothes that no longer align with you. They also do not fit you anymore. So if you have any goal clothes or anything like you're saving until you can finally fit into it again, get rid of them, because you are attaching your worth and your attractiveness to a size number. And even if you hit the weight, I tell this to my clients all the time, even if you hit the weight or you lose the weight, you're still going to have that mindset and attach your body and your worth or your attractiveness to that size. So that's not going to do anything for you or love for yourself. So get rid of those so you can learn to love and embrace and dress the body that you have now. Okay. So that's discontinued identity. Transitional identity, those are the clothes that represent you right now, but they might be in transition to get out of the closet, whether you're going to replace them or they work for the time being. We're not exactly sure just quite yet, but they work at the moment. Continuing identity, those are the pieces that are part of you fully align with. You can see your future self wearing them. They're going to last you years and years. So my process isn't just yes, no, maybe. It has more intent behind it, because I could easily say, no, I haven't worn this in 10 years, but I still align with it. I just don't know how to restyle it, right? So like that's why I don't like doing just yes, no, or maybe. I like doing it more so in identity categories.
Yeah, that maybe pile can you can spend a lot of time with that pile just based off of like, okay, like stepping into the new identity, really intentionally making a choice to let go of it. I know people are really tied to certain clothes based
Yeah.
off of memories or just like when who they were when they bought it, right? So even just that process of letting go and like making space for this new person to come through. So I would love to know because I know we're at the point in the program, right, where we're shopping, we're doing the fun part of like, okay, now that we have our style identity, we're in the process of picking things. But I imagine that all the people that you've worked with who have come through the end, right, you start to see confidence come through. You start to see just like changes in someone once they get a chance to try on that identity and like practice. So, what are
Yeah.
some of the things that you notice about people like when they start to change their style and when they really start to like put it into practice? What kind of, yeah, I guess qualities come up or what do you
Ooh,
notice?
this is like my most favorite part because yes, their outfits are on point now. But it's the change that I see on the inner side that I'm just like, yes, absolutely. Because they now believe in themselves. Because how our brains work, we need visual confirmation for it to be more believable. And so when we see ourselves dressing in a way that we envision ourselves to, and we're doing that actively, it now becomes your reality. And you're like, okay, this is more believable. I don't have imposter syndrome as much where I feel like I'm not qualified to do this. You are actually living the part. I see women who just confidently are able to, oh my gosh, I've had clients that got new promotions and they moved to a whole new state and broke up with their exit or with their exes because they knew they deserved more. Like they so much more than just their wardrobe came into light where yes, they built confidence to show up, but they built more confidence to be themselves. They're more bold, they're more fearless. They put their foot down, especially in higher positions at work. They now like command the room. They're more magnetic even if you don't have a higher position in works. Maybe you're just um, maybe you are a stay-at-home mom. I've had clients who have just been stay-at-home moms. I need to stop saying just. There's nothing with just. There's so much more that goes into it. When they are stay-at-home moms, they are able to make memories. They are not afraid to be in front of the camera anymore. When taking pictures of their kids, they're not hiding. They're not the one behind the camera anymore. So like so many positive things happen. Now, I'm not saying this process is going to change every single thing. I think it becomes more easy to manage any negative thoughts that come up because self-doubt will creep back in, imposter syndrome will creep back in, bad body image days will happen again. But now you have the tool set to understand how to adjust, whether it is through your clothing. So that way you're looking at it more analytically versus emotionally.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a practical way to work through some of those feelings that naturally come up. And I know that there's a lot of shifts that happen or seasons in people's bodies, right? Whether it's pre-pregnancy, postpartum, obviously that's huge changes happening in the body. But even just people have so many different seasons of their body, right? So learning one thing that's been really sticking out to me in our work so far is even just body shape of like dressing for your body shape and knowing that and being able to feel confident knowing that like you're picking clothes that do you justice, right, that do your body shape justice. And knowing that that is a something that I can integrate that's like lifelong, right, that's something that I'll take with
Yeah.
me like well beyond the
Yeah.
program too.
I think the comparison game starts to decrease also when you start to learn about your body shape, because now instead of just buying something because it looks cute on somebody else, you're able to just look at the clothing itself and identify, okay, yes, this neckline works for me or this rise works for me, versus, oh, she looks so good on it, let me just buy it. And then hopefully I look just as great as her. And then it ends up not working out because you guys have totally different body shapes. Right. So I wanted to say that too, because that's a huge thing that I've noticed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to dig into you a little bit more, because when I look at you, really do. I feel like, obviously you're so put together. You're a style coach, you're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you have, all your programs are fully branded, right? By Samantha Dawn. But I know that there's a lot behind the scenes that has gotten you here, right? And does get you into, to embody this Samantha Dawn, right? So I would love to know like how you are balancing entrepreneurship and motherhood in this, in this role that you're in. Because you mentioned it's not that long ago that this transition happened, like with COVID and kind of this new chapter for you. So how do you balance it?
I'm going to be totally real with you. I don't. I don't think balance is a thing, or it's not real. I think it's another version of perfectionism, which I am a huge perfectionist, but reality behind the camera, behind the branding, I am not put together. Like, you should see this office. There's clothes everywhere on the floor right now. I do show up and try my best in terms of routines and like a trick that I do, because everyone always says, Sam, your hair is so perfect. I When I wash my hair, when I do my everything shower, I wash my hair and I do it the night before, so that way every morning when I just do a body shower and I knot my hair, I just do dry shampoo and touch it up, so it saves me some time, right? So I wish there was a perfect formula for me to say, yeah, I have my whole life together, but I really don't. And I need to speak more on that, because I feel like people have this perception of me that I am so perfect and put together, but I am the opposite. Like, I am in therapy. I have a lot of anxiety balancing the kids. I think it's really hard. I don't think there's ever a time where I'm like, yes, I am perfectly present in my business, but I'm also perfectly present in my family. Like, there's always an imbalance of, oh my gosh, I should be working on something. And oh my gosh, I should be hanging out with my kids right now, you know? So I don't think balance is real. I think honestly, what I do to help myself is to take time to pour into myself. So there's therapy for me. Hypno breath is a big thing for me right now. Journaling, meditation, um, binaural beats, just like having those 5-10 minutes to myself to have some peace, and just remembering to pour into myself. Because honestly, I don't sleep. That is something that I need to work on with the sustainability of my life, because I do a lot and I don't sleep as much as I should. Last night, I think I stayed up till 3 in the morning shopping for a private client. And then I woke up at 7 for the kids. I could go on and on about this subject, but there's no such thing as balance. And if I appear that way, it is a lie. I am not balanced.
I appreciate just like being candid about that, right? Because it is so true that, especially as you have a personal brand, people look to you for guidance for fashion and style. And yes, your hair does look amazing all the time. I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, her hair is literally always always nice. But it's there's so much behind the scenes, like you said. Like most people just see from the waist up on a Zoom call or on a podcast call, and they don't see kind of the behind the scenes that is happening too. One of the things that it's been a theme for me and a lot of the people I've brought onto the show to talk about is how entrepreneurship is like the biggest personal development journey that you can take. And no one really prepared me for that. No one told me that, oh, all your stuff's going to come up for something as simple as raising your prices, client issues, whatever it might be. Like, so much comes up. So for you, since you started back in COVID times till now, like, has there been, like, I guess, a big theme that you've learned, or something that you've had to really face as a result of being your own boss and having to go through that personal development journey as an entrepreneur?
Oh, there's so many things on this topic. I'm like, where do I begin? These are great questions, by the way. I don't think people ever ask me about business questions. Boundaries is a big thing, I think. I mean, you're in my program, you know how fast I reply to people, and I message at really weird hours because that's just when I work. But knowing when to be present and take my phone away, because I think that's really hard with entrepreneurship, is that you always have your phone because that's usually how you're getting clients or you're responding to clients or something like that. And so really being present with that and not having my phone on during certain hours, usually when my kids are, when it's family time during the evening. So that's one. Two, oh, I think since I've gone viral a lot of times on social media, it's having to grow thicker skin because I feel like people are not everyone's going to like you. And I think that's really hard to accept, especially when you're building your business and you just want people to like what you're doing. And there's going to be opposing opinions. And I have learned like that's okay. To me, anytime that happens, that's the universe or God telling me, are you ready for the next level? Because if you are, great, because you're not quote unquote successful unless you have haters. That's always what my coaches tell me. But there was a moment in time, I think the last time a few months ago, when a video went viral, and I got a lot of hate on it. Like there was some mean people that said mean things to me, and I ended up turning off the comments because I couldn't handle it. And I was just like, I know, universe, God, you are trying to tell me to the next level, but not today. Not today. And then I had a recent video that went super viral. And then, of course, people had to post in opinions, people said mean things, all those things. And I just was like, okay, I need to remember why I'm doing this. Why am I even putting out the content out in the world? Because if I can just change at least one person's life or shift how they're thinking about themselves, and I'm affecting at least one woman out there, or a man. Most of my audience, I feel like, are women. Then that's all that matters. Because then now I can tune out any of the hate that comes or anybody that has an opposing opinion to me, because I'm not doing this for them. And when I attach the results to that, that's where I get caught up in my emotions. But when I remember why I'm doing it, that's all that matters. And so that truly has helped me recently with my business. I can go on forever, so just tell me when to stop. Okay.
No, that's amazing. I mean, that's such a, it is, it's like going viral and TikTok and social media and all of that. It is a means to bring like the wider audience in, but ultimately like the work that you're doing is with those, private clients, the groups, like small, intimate, like sharing circle, sharing groups that are sharing and being vulnerable and like going deep and like, but it is like the funnel needs to make its way to you. So it's like that necessary evil. But I love that you're like, comments are off, not today. Like that's not that's not the energy that we need to be sitting in. But it is a very real part of having a social media following and having just people that are not that's like the best thing that they can do today is drop some hate into people's comments, which
I know. And you
yeah,
don't
it's
know
hard.
keyboard. You don't know what their life is like. Maybe they're having a bad day. I don't know. I
Mhm.
just have to take my personal feelings out of it. But then when the people who are meant for me, that I am meant to like change their life somehow in some capacity with their style and the psychology and finding themselves, like the people who come into my world are the best clients ever. I mean, like Liv came into my life and I was like, this girl is so fun. Thank God she is part of my life for the next 6 months or beyond and beyond. Because it's you attract like attracts like, right? And so when I get those people who are meant for me, oh, the sparks, the energy between me and my clients, it's just like we're the best of friends.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that in the program. I feel like you're the like, the best friend that someone wants to have, like trying on clothes and being like, yeah, you look great, or oh, why don't you try this, or like just like kind of our biggest cheerleader, which a lot of people need, as they're making these big shifts to their identity and style to match that identity. So I know that this probably is gonna be a hard question because it's hard to distill it down to 5, but I'm going to ask for 5. But if you have more, you can share. But I would love to know like your top 5 tips for women that are getting started in their style journey, that they're just like, okay, I know I want to explore this. I know this is something that's interesting to me. I have no idea where to start, but I just want to start. It could be mindset shifts, mindset things to think about. It could be practical things to think about. But if you were to give the women listening or the people listening 5 of your like top tips, what would you say they are?
Ooh, you're right. This is a hard question. One of them, dress to express over dress to impress. So that goes down to dressing for yourself. So that way you're dressing for your own energy and taking control back. Because when you are dressing for other people's energies and trying to match that, it's never going to be enough, right? But when you dress for yourself, you're creating your own energy and dressing and attracting people who are meant for you. Not just people place it or people, opportunities, money, jobs, clients. You will attract those who are meant for you and repel the ones who are not, because your style is an extension of you. It's part of your personality. So that's one. Two, I would say to get rid of your goal clothes. If you have any in your closet, get rid of those ASAP, because you are meant to dress the way that you want right now in the body that you have right now. 3, add accessories. I think that's the biggest mark, or one of the biggest marks people miss when it comes to their style, is that they don't accessorize, and then they feel like there's something missing in the outfit. But a simple accessories, earrings, necklaces, a watch can really elevate a whole outfit, no matter what it is. Even if you're wearing sweats and you're wearing jewelry, that will still elevate the whole outfit. That's another one. 4, okay, this was a shopping tip that I love to do. For every dollar that you spend should be the amount of times you're able to wear that item before it starts to break down. So this gives me a really good idea of a life expectancy of an item when I'm investing into pieces. So if I'm investing in a $500 leather jacket, I expect to wear that leather jacket at least 500 times before I start to see some wear and tear. If it doesn't, that tells me the quality is bad and that I'm just buying the brand name, not necessarily the piece. Now, say you spend $20 on a shirt or a jacket, and I expect to also for that to last or wear it 20 times before it starts to break down on me. Now, if it exceeds that, amazing. If it doesn't, I'm questioning that quality level. Speaking of quality, before you buy things, check the materials. So that way, you know you're investing in the actual item. You're not investing in a brand name. I've seen it so many times where you can buy something for $500 or beyond, and it's just polyester. And for those of you who don't know, polyester is it's basically plastic, but it's the most mass-produced fabric, man-made fabric, and it's mass-produced. It's the cheapest, but people upcharge you, and you're basically paying for a brand name. So materials are huge. Look at that in terms of investing. I don't know what number am I at. Am I at 4 or 5?
I think you're 4. I think you're at 4.
Okay, one more. One last one. Do you want mindset or do you want practical, like things that you can do right now?
If you have a mindset and a practical, you're welcome to give either. I know people are like, right,
Yeah.
I'm writing these down.
Another accessory that is missing in everyone's closet is a belt. I feel like, especially if you want to be more feminine in your wardrobe, having that waist definition is huge. It's okay if you have more volume in your midsection. There's ways to consciously camouflage that, but you can still define the waist, and a belt is an excellent and simple way to do it. So if you don't have belts in the closet, add more of those.
Amazing. I'm literally buying belts because of you. I'm like, we're buying belts, we're buying watches. Yeah, last
Yes.
one.
Proud of you. Okay, last one. Do you have like a specific question on something? And I'm like, where do I go with this last one?
I guess this is more of a personal question, but you did talk about how you had your own style evolution, right? You did exactly what you're teaching us is what you had. So what would you say is like the biggest I guess, thing that you experienced through that through that evolution? Like, what was the catalyst for making that change for you?
It's kind of just I know it sounds really woo, but it just, I had a feeling where I was ready for the next level. And when I was feeling bored with my clothing, or I started to feel like I didn't feel excited to wear my clothes anymore because it didn't, I don't know, that just didn't inspire me or make me feel like it was helping me show up in the way that I wanted to. That's when I knew it's time to change my style or to elevate it in some way. Because I've gone through multiple evolutions. One of them right before my first was, or right after my first was born. Another major one was in the middle of my second pregnancy, and everyone was like, "Why are you buying clothes in the middle of your pregnancy?" And I was like, "Well, I have done this so many times already that I have an idea of what to expect with my shape in terms of like cuts and fits of what I like." Now, my body was different for both times, first pregnancy and second pregnancy, but it was just a feeling where I was just like, I can't just sit here and wait and settle because I just don't like how I feel. I don't show up in the way that I want to. I don't work with clients in the capacity in terms of excitement, and not saying that none of my clients are exciting. They're all super amazing, but just how I deliver and how I serve, it's just a different energy. And so when I have a pulse check on my self-awareness and my energy all the time. And so when I start feeling it going down, I always question, like, is it time to evolve or to elevate my style, or to change it, or to go through another evolution? Because there is going to be multiple ones, because every time you evolve, your style evolves too. And it doesn't have to be a giant one, it can be a small shift one. But either way, there's an evolution. And when that happens, you need to act on that, because there's no other way you're going to embody that and make that your new normal if you don't take action on that. Boom, mic drop.
Yes. Yes, that is. I'm like, listen to the call. Number 6 is listen to the call, right? It's like when you feel like that internal intuition, self-awareness, and it's time, when it's time, like the change, like the current of change is like is on its way. So yeah,
Yeah, and
amazing.
there's times when that happens too, right? Like you start feeling discouragement, or self-doubt starts to creep in, you're nitpicking yourself more, you're going through your clothes like it's an empty refrigerator, even though there's a ton of things there. Like there are definitely signs that tell you it's time to evolution, or to evolve your style.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. So I have 2 last questions for you before we wrap up. So the first one is something that I actually close all my interview podcasts with, which is, what is lighting you up these days? What's really sparking joy, bringing light into your life?
I think right now it has nothing to do with business or style. Not saying I love all of that. But right now, my kids are at an age where my youngest is a little bit, he's 1 now. Um, and my second, he's 4. And now they're at an age where they're finally like playing together more. Like my youngest actually understands what's happening. And just to like sit back and to watch them interact and have fun, like either they're fighting or they're laughing their asses off. And it's just such a sweet moment for me to witness. So anytime that I'm seeing that, it just takes my brain away from everything else, and just to be present with them and laugh with them. And so that truly has been lighting me up lately.
So fun. That my little one is a year and a half, and I've been saying like he's in such a fun age for a while now. I'm like, since he turned 1, I feel like it's so cool just to see, like, yeah, just to see little personalities come out, and just like to witness them learn, and it's so cool. So
Yeah. And
amazing.
when those laughs come, like
Yeah.
everything just silences and all the worries just
Yeah.
go away when you just see them having fun.
So I would love for you to share, because I know there's women listening that are like, sign me up for that, right? So I would love for you to share a little bit about how people can work with you, what you have coming up, like, yeah, how can people connect and find you?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram and on TikTok. The username is by Samantha Dawn, by Samantha Dawn. My DMs are always open, so just message me there. You can definitely apply. My booking calendar for style consultations are booked all the way till January, though. So if you're listening, just DM me Live or Illuminated Path podcast, whatever. You can DM me those words and I'll prioritize those. So that way I can message you back and see what is the best option for you. There's a couple of different ways to work with me. One of them being one-on-one, where we do a private VIP style makeover, where I do basically everything for you for your style makeover. Or there's the second option, which Liv is actually in. It's called Rebirth. It is my style accelerator, where I'm teaching you how to conduct your own style makeover, so that way you have the tools and the knowledge to understand how to evolve your style every time that it happens. So those are my two main ones that are happening right now. If you have questions about it, DM me. Liv knows how fast I am at replying to things, and how open I am to all messages.
Yes. Yes, I will drop all the links in the show notes for you to connect with Samantha. I want to just thank you for being on here. I was so excited to share your story and just your energy with this community. It's I know that people are going to be super excited about this episode and taking some notes and taking some tips. So thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please rate and review, and don't forget to subscribe. Learn more at enowellnesscollective.com and connect with us on Instagram at enowellnesscollective.